You put it out, right?
This is the Bears Barroom Radio Network. The following program is recorded live and intended for all audiences.
Radio is scripted now. We just come up with it. We don't use computers. We don't rehearse. We're going to talk about this next. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Bulls. And then we're going to have Brad Bigson. And then we're going to have all this. No. If you don't know what you're going to talk about in the top of your head before a show, you shouldn't be in the business. I don't know what you got. I feel like Vince Vaughn in a couple's retreat. The Sharks are circling. Old school, baby.
You're listening to the Mike North Advantage, and it begins right now.
That's right. The Mike North Advantage starts right now. I am Aldo Gandia, Mike's wingman. And Mike, look at that head of hair. It seems like you're growing more and more hair every day, and I'm losing it.
It's a toupee. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Let me fix it. You know what I'm saying? I gotta be honest with you. I usually wear headphones, Aldo.
Right.
And every 3 times a year when I'm getting ready for something, I take my comb and my brush and I put on the hairspray and all that other stuff.
Uh-huh.
And today it's a combination. I got to be honest with you. Bobby Rydell, for people that don't know who he is, you should, because you should know your history of music. This is like a 50s motif type of thing today. Maybe a little Johnny Voight, a little Mick in Ray Donovan.
Right.
Something like that. But the hair was just too good to mess up with headphones, so I just decided to go this way. Everything else is going good. Why wouldn't my hair be in place now? I mean, I'm on a 9-game winning streak after going 2-0 last night at Win Daily Sports, folks. Win Daily Sports. Look at the screen. Well, you don't. It's right in front of you. Yeah. If you're not going there, a couple nights ago, 12-3. I mean, as far as all the cappers together. So go check them out. Log in. There's a lot of premium picks. Our hockey guy finally had an off night after about 2 weeks. The guy's on fire, and I'm on fire. So also, Bears Barroom, this is the best part. Wednesdays, I don't get the full information. So, but I can't use it as an excuse because the past 2 years on Bears Barroom, out of all the platforms I do, I've dominated. Yet that being said, an off year right now for me is 8-8. We're even. So we're going to come back today. Got 2 NBA games. The last time I lost, and Aldo's thrilled about this. He told me how proud he was on this show last week. Okay?
That's right.
That's right.
We got to throw some drama into it, right?
Yeah, we got to. You know what we got to do? Come here. I got to cry. I mean, really. I mean, Aldo and I mean, we have a couple big announcements coming up soon, hopefully. And I also got another announcement I'm working on pertaining to a league. So I'll be. And if you think that's a tease, it is for everybody out there. This is huge news for a league. So I'm excited about that. People are starting to find out that handicapping can be won, wagering can be won. I'm on Twitter every day. And believe me, I've been on when I suck. And it's no fun to say you were 1-5, you're 2-6. But you know what's fun? When you're 9-0 and you say it.
That's right.
And then people try, and then the mainstream media tries to ignore it. You can't ignore it. It's like ignoring Jordan playing a basketball game. It's like ignoring Elvis in 1956 on the Ed Sullivan Show. It's like ignoring, I mean, seriously, think about Beyonce walking around in a miniskirt down Rush Street singing. Come on.
I love it.
That's what it is. This is what it is. Look at my hair. I woke up like this today. I'll go back to you.
That is awesome. Mike Howard thinks over at ESPN 1000 with the Odds Couple, which you can listen to every Friday night at ESPN 1000. How are things going with you and Carmen?
Let me tell you something. Randy Merkin sat in for Carmen. Carmen and I have been on a roll.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to enter the Carmen Yurko Friday bonus pick this week after I had UCLA last week beating Alabama straight up.
Big one.
I am 13-1 in my last 14 games over a 3-month span. The funny thing about this is I've gone on this record, and it started the next day it started really the day after Lucky died, my dog. And I've been on this thing ever since. And now I got this bandit, this pirate. Okay. Lionel swinging from a rope going, you ready? I mean, my God, he's like, we got to listen to this. They said he might be too young to go play with other dogs. I go, this guy's half box. I should have named him Jake after Jake LaMotta. Oh, he's the best. He's part boxer, part lab. But then, you know what's funny about puppies? He's only in the fighting mode and having fun and everything. For an hour and a half a day. The rest of the day, he goes, "Hi, here's a pamphlet. Would you come in and join us and sit down?" But for an hour and a half, he's on top of he's like the Joker. You know what I mean? It's the best. He just came in and he said, "I'll have you trained in 2 weeks. Don't worry." And then he left.
That is hilarious.
In 3 months, I'll tell you what. If I take this dog to a dog park, he will have the time of his life and he'll exhaust everybody. We put him in the crate. Once you put him in the crate, at night you put him in the crate, right? Perfect. 7 hours. We tried something during the day yesterday. We said, let's try just for a minute, for an hour. Rough, for 45 minutes. Didn't stop. That's the heart of a champion, my friend. And that's a guy like me. I don't like to be locked up. You know what I mean? But he's starting to get it. He's a gentleman. He's the best. BB and I are having fun. And boy, you know this. What an addition a dog is.
Mike, yesterday my daughter comes over and she brings over her dog. She's got a year and a half dachshund, half something else. This dog doesn't look like a dachshund. First of all, he jumps higher than Michael Jordan. But then the thing that I discovered is we had a happy birthday balloon floating somewhere, and the dog is like terrified of this balloon. And I said, wow, this is funny. It's terrified of balloon. And my daughter tells me all dogs are afraid of balloons. Is that right? You've owned dog.
My dog was in a shelter in a foster home. They don't take puppies out anymore because you can't keep track of 7 puppies. If there's like a person in what they have is these pee-pee pads. So you got to break them of that first. But here's another thing. He had never been out. He's from Tennessee. He barks with a drawl, which is really he's the best. When he goes out now, it took him 2 days to figure out what a car was. He goes, "What the hell is that thing?" So when he walked every 2 squares and sat down every time a car went by. But then we started giving him treats to keep walking, and it's over with. But you got to teach him.
Yes.
I raise my dogs better than, I'm not kidding, and I don't have kids. I don't have kids. I just read a lot. I raise my dog as good as 50% of the people at least raise their kids. That's all I'm going to say. And that includes my mom and dad did. They're the same way. How good were you raised? How good were most of us raised? Seriously.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, man.
I mean, come on.
I was treated worse than a dog by
listen. Right. Now they pick you up at the corner. The old Three Stooges thing. Drive across the street and let them out. I mean, enough.
Oh, some sensational stuff. Mike, I'm on Twitter this morning, and I see that you wrote, "I went to bed last night, and when I woke up, UCLA was a winner." So tell me about that, Mike.
Let me tell you something, Al. It's been a magical year. I started out in the NFL with Carmen and Randy Merkin, who had Baylor, God bless him. And I was like, if you remember, I was miserable. I was 1-9. Then I went 63% in the NFL. I just went on a tear, and I haven't stopped. And I took UCLA against Alabama. I took UCLA against Michigan. And I'm having people now actually ask me at 6 a.m, "Are your picks ready?" Now, I just woke up. You know what I mean? I mean, really, seriously. I look like a dog that's been out for 3 days, and they're asking me, "Are your picks ready?" So it's beautiful. It's a compliment.
Yes,
let's keep it going. And you know what's funny about everybody that's listened to us, Tooch, there's this guy, Murph, all these great guys. I don't mean to miss anybody. I know a lot of the people like Carmen and Randy are taking my picks, and Randy and these guys are as good as anybody, and they're still taking my picks, which I feel good about. When you lose, but you win most of the time, there's no gripers. One guy griped to me last week, some guy from Vegas. And well, he didn't gripe to me. I just got mad. How could you take UCLA or something? I go, you don't ask a gambler that before a game.
Yeah, right.
Because you're from Vegas doesn't mean that, what kind of etiquette is that? How could you take Alabama? I could have said to him. And then when he lost, so then I barbecued him afterwards, and I haven't heard from him since. So, you don't cry in gambling. You don't cry in gambling. You don't ask Mike. You don't ask Babe Ruth how you hit the ball.
That's right.
You don't ask Frank Sinatra how do you enunciate. Seriously, you don't ask Lassie. How to give a paw. Or you don't ask Mike North why you're taking a team, because there's no rhyme and reason why I would take half these teams. You know this.
That's right.
You know this. I took the Orlando Magic last night. Plus 11.5. I said, let's meet outside, everybody that's got the Orlando Magic with me. I walked out in the middle of the street. I was by myself. So I walked back in, and they beat the Clippers outright.
Wow. Nice.
So I was 2-0 last night with UCLA and Orlando. So my guys don't ask me. They know we take crap teams.
Yeah.
They know, hey, I'm the guy that goes, I got a beautiful apartment to show you. It's the raunchiest basement apartment in the neighborhood. The pipes are leaking. I don't want to live here. Try it. Then they win, and they go, okay.
That's right.
I can handle the leaky pipe here, because all the big shots are on TV. Clark Kellogg, Seth Marsh Davis, all those guys, and that's fine. But if you want to win, you don't listen to any of those dopes on TV, because any of them, Vitale, I love Dick. I love Dick Vitale. I better finish the sentence. I love Dick Vitale. That's gonna. Yeah, can you edit that? No, I'm just saying. I basically, Billis, all these guys are pros, but don't tell me you know the game of basketball today. If you pick the Big Ten as the best conference and they're out of it, don't. It's either bad luck or you're just naive. They're all blue chippers. They all want to impress the Big Five.
Right.
Some of these guys want the athletes to get paid. Let me tell you, some of the teams I've seen, okay, you don't get a free scholarship, but I'll give you 100 a day, 100 a week. Now, what are they going to take? Because they're still getting paid. And if you ask those UCLA kids, would you rather get 100.5 a game, but have to pay for half your education? Because you can't get a $200,000 education and say you're not getting anything. That's just naive. Because my dad, I asked him one time if I could get dentures. At the time, dentures were like $3,000, maybe less, $2,000. My dad was working on his car. Okay? I say, Dad, my teeth are crooked. He looks up at me. He goes, yeah? I go, I was wondering, Mom told me to ask you if I could have dentures. He looked down. He said, hand me the wrench. And that was the last. That was the last. Now we're supposed to give these guys scholarships. We're supposed to pay them. Let me tell you something. They are on the national stage. Some of these analysts are making millions because they were first known for being scholarship athletes. And yet they still want to grab money. You're making your name. That kid from Gonzaga, Suggs, you could have paid him $200 a week. Okay? That's fine. He'll never have to worry for the rest of his life. He may be a first pick in the draft. So whatever he signs for, he's a success, whether he craps the bed or not in the NBA. So shut up about paying these guys, because these guys get the national stage. And they get a free education. How much is it to go to Northwestern and stink?
I love it.
Come on.
I love it. I love it.
My dad wouldn't. My teeth are still crooked.
By the
What
way,
I have left of them.
by the way, you meant braces, not dentures. You didn't want dentures at the age of 10.
Oh, no, I meant now for the dentures. Braces back then.
Okay.
God, did I say dentures? Well, you know where I'm at. He tries to tell me before I comb my hair I look young. Okay?
Uh-huh.
I look like Papillon looking out of the cell door. How do I look? Although Steve McQueen still look good no matter what.
Oh, yeah. Listen, we've got a Final Four matchup of number 2 Houston versus number 1 Baylor. That's the first game on Saturday. And then number 11 UCLA versus number 1 Gonzaga. I wanted to ask you, I saw this. Once the NCAA expanded the field in 1985 and put 6 games between the team and the national championship, no team has entered the event with a perfect record and left with one. So Gonzaga has a perfect record right now. What do you think? Are they going to win it all and finish the season with a perfect record?
One thing I won't do is say they're one of the great teams of all time until at least the tournament's over. We started that nonsense last night. I'm hearing these guys last night. Kenny Smith, who they are, and he doesn't even like Duke. They were comparing. I actually heard Kenny Smith and Barkley. I heard Kenny Smith say Christian Laettner and Grant Hill couldn't beat Gonzaga. Then I heard him say UNLV would wipe Gonzaga out, right? But the next year, Hurley and Laettner beat the crap out of them.
That's
Made
right.
them weep and cry for their mothers. So they're nothing. Larry Johnson went home with his tail between his legs, and I'm hearing Duke couldn't beat this team. But UNLV could, because UNLV the year before. The nonsense that I hear is just mind-boggling. I'm hearing Michael Jordan, James Worthy, Sam Perkins. They destroyed Gonzaga. I'm sorry. But not many more.
Oh, gosh.
They're a precise, great team, moves without the ball. But look who they've played in the tournament, and look, they've had a free ride. And if Gonzaga goes perfect, could they have beaten Indiana? Maybe. But Bobby Knight, Quinn Buckner, are you kidding me? Quinn Buckner, Scotty May, precision. They lost the year before after almost at the end. So we're going to get into the comparison thing, but it takes a lot of guts to say Michael Jordan would lose to Gonzaga. Okay, after he almost beat the Celtics in a playoff 1-on-5.
That's so good.
My God.
So good.
Wait, am I supposed to believe Bill Walton would have lost to Gonzaga? Am I supposed to believe Lou Alcindor would have lost to Gonzaga? Oh my God, back in those days, you had to win the league. And I give Gonzaga all the credit in the world, but they've won 25 games. I mean, Mark Few's fantastic. They're fantastic. But don't start this comparison crap when you're talking about superstars. Because how many of these guys from Gonzaga? I like the center. I like the guard. The guard's going to be a stud. Yeah. The center's going to be a backup, I think, down the line. Maybe he'll be a starter. He's better than Nick Collison was and these other guys. But come on. Please.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm with you, man. Heart 4803 says it could very well happen. Gonzaga's won perfect. And I think no one's
give him a top 5 all time. But I cannot.
Yep.
I cannot. I'll try to say it. Gonzaga would beat Michael Jordan, James Worthy, and Sam Perkins. Or, Gonzaga would beat Bobby Hurley, Christian Laettner, Coach K. Are you out of your minds? And Grant Hill?
Yeah.
For these guys? I mean, come on. Christian Laettner went to 4 straight Final Fours, too. Yeah. He won 2 national championships. He played on the Dream Team. I don't care if he didn't play that much.
Yep.
Don't disrespect history. Don't knock down statues. Because those statues, I think Michael Jordan would kick any one of those guys' asses now, 1-on-1. Don't even go there.
Chubbs82 says Gonzaga wouldn't beat the Anthony Davis Kentucky team.
I'm not sure about that.
I don't know.
That one, I'm not sure. But look, there's teams they beat the crap out of that were great. I think they killed North Carolina State with Valvano. They beat them. I think they might beat that Kentucky team.
Q from
But don't tell me they're going to beat UCLA with Walton or Jabbar.
Yeah, please. A lot of people who just didn't grow up in that era, they just don't understand what.
Well, they didn't have all those teams listed, those guys last night, but they haven't even won the whole tournament yet. And they're telling me what they would have done to national champions. If they win the whole tournament, let's visit this. Okay?
Yep.
But you know what? They could still take a crap because Baylor's good.
Yeah.
Although, I heard last night somebody say, well, he says, it was good that BYU tested them. Yeah. BYU was a 14-point underdog. Are you kidding me? Who says they're going to the national championship probably because BYU gave them a tough time? This is football.
That's
My
right.
God. The nonsense is just appalling. And then I have to hear Clark Kellogg say, oh, Loyola's still going to lose Illinois at the half. I go, God help me. God help me. God help me. And you get paid what? God help me. And then CBS, who introduced me to gambling, won't even acknowledge it. And it's the number one thing going. That's why everybody's watching your damn product. That's why I can stomach Dan Bonner. Or that's why I can stomach the nonsensical announcers.
Yeah.
I played Charlie Rich's greatest hits last night during one of the games. I couldn't stand it to announcers.
Charlie Rich?
Yeah, remember him? Behind closed doors.
Oh,
I like Gonzaga, but you know what? This is the best. Wait, I forgot this one. They didn't mention Patrick Ewing in Georgetown.
Oh,
You know what they would do to this team?
oh my goodness.
But then Villanova beat Georgetown. It's basketball. Gonzaga could beat one of these teams, but they could get their ass kicked by another.
That's right.
Villanova beat Georgetown. I don't want to hear this team would beat that team. But name me the stars in this NCAA tournament. There used to be 25, 30 stars because they stayed 4 years.
Right.
You had to. Jabbar couldn't even play. Alcindor couldn't even play to his sophomore year. Name me the stars in this tournament.
You're starting to learn about guys who could potentially be stars. It's what's happening. Yeah.
There was the one guy, he was really good last night, Camp or some Jew Camp. I think his name was Jew Camp. Tough player. I never heard of him till last night.
that scored almost half of
You used to hear about Maravich for 4 years. Alcindor for 4 years. Walton for 4 years. It's a watered-down product, period.
Yeah, that's very, very true. And speaking of guys who are not stars, would you have, how many cups of coffee did you have?
17. No, I've only had 4, but they're large. Every good engine needs fuel.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Franz Wagner. Have you heard the name before? Because he is being vilified on social media. He's the guy that missed that three-pointer for Michigan to win the game. He shot an air ball, and Michigan fans are just giving it to that poor kid.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. I know some. I'd like to be his agent. How's that? All right. My God, it's basketball. I saw a lot of air balls last night. USC, the nonsense. The best bet? I've always preached on this show. Hearing a little bit of echo.
Yeah, I hear it too.
It's okay.
You hear it now?
Yeah, but it's no.
Okay.
Very slight. But I just want to make sure that the listeners understand that Eldo and I sometimes don't hear some of this stuff, so we got to be careful. But what this kid has done, I watched USC last night.
Okay.
And I heard everybody say USC was going to give Gonzaga a game. And that's why you got to look at Gonzaga as a top 5 team all time. They didn't give them a game from the opening tip. They were crapping the bed. Okay. But that's the type of teams that you're facing now. Back in the day, you faced 4-year seniors that were actually going to be superstars in the game. Jordan left after his junior year. There's guys that leave their freshman year. Perkins stayed 4 years.
Right.
Alcindor stayed 4 years. Walton stayed 4 years. Maravich stayed 4 years. Kelvin Murphy stayed 4 years. Leitner stayed 4 years. That's why you don't know these guys.
Yeah.
And the tragedy, I heard somebody say, and I was listening to my guys from Visson, Paulie Howard and Mitch Moss, and I want to thank them and the Mushburgers. God bless them. They just sold the Visson, the station to DraftKings, which is great.
Nice.
And so, yeah, Brian Mushburger and those guys did a great job. And I heard those guys yesterday, and I was with them, but I decided to stay off the USC bandwagon. I didn't take Gonzaga either. Sometimes the best bet's the one you didn't make. I made money last night by not betting that game. Was it hard for me not to? No, because I knew I had NBA.
Mm-hmm.
See, when you go to commercial in a late game,
mm-hmm.
but you got an NBA game like the Clippers on at 9:00, you just switch. You go back and forth. You know how many gamblers could have 6 games going at once? They have more than 3, 4, 5 TVs that they're watching at the same time, which is a little sick, but that's what they do. I use the remote. On NFL Sunday, I'm all over the place.
That's right.
That's why announcers have become inconsequential for the most part, because graphics and everything are right there.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, but USC didn't even show up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, and they had 2 studs on that team that I'd been reading about, and they looked like the moment was too big for them. Yeah. That's called experience, tournament experience, and Gonzaga's got it. I should have taken them, but I said, I don't have a read. I'm not going to give my listeners or my viewers a game that I think might win, so I gave them another game. I waited for UCLA and unloaded, period.
There you go. Good thinking. Hey, you were mentioning watching lots of different TVs. I remember every time I go to Vegas, I love to go to the sports book, just sit there. I'm surrounded by TVs. I lay a little bet here, a little bet there, and I just have a couple of beers. And well, that's going to happen for a lot of Chicago Bears fans this year, because they are going to be playing the Raiders in Vegas under the 17-game schedule. What do you think of that? Are you going to Vegas with me, baby?
Are you out of your mind? First of all, if they're still wearing masks, I won't even walk near O'Hare. Okay? I won't even take a cab near O'Hare. If everybody's still wearing masks like they're robbing the joint, forget about it. Now, once everything gets a little bit better, I may go there. But the nonsense, I don't know why I've gone to Vegas the last 35. I don't know why I stayed at the M Resort the last 10 years or been to Vegas the last 30, except for now the last couple of years, without the Bears coming there. I don't understand why. I think every fan under the sun's going to be there. The most obnoxious people will be there, walking around in their God-blessed Henry Burris jerseys and their Neil Anderson jerseys, telling us how much they know. Then, I really like to go to Vegas very low-key. That's why I stay off the Strip. If I'm in the main lobby somewhere at Caesars, I will be accosted by a guy named Beer Fan Joe. Okay? Not that I don't mind it, but that's my downtime. Everybody thinks I used to go to Vegas for 2 weeks at a time to rest. Forget about it. Somebody goes, "Oh, you're going to Vegas? That's going to be wild." I go, "I haven't been home in 3 days. I've been on Rush Street. I get home at 12 at night. I haven't been home at a decent hour. I'm going to Vegas to rest. You get your 8 hours. You get up. You go gamble. You have a few cocktails. You take your time. You relax. That's the way to go. We used to go for 2 days and then come back and be brain dead for a week."
Yeah. I got a buddy who still goes to Vegas to, basically stay up for the 72 hours that he's there. And he's always inviting me. And I'm like, dude, I can't do that anymore. There's just no way I'm going to. Back in the day, 72 hours, but not anymore. Now I'm just like you. I have breakfast. I play a little Keno with a nice breakfast. I go to the pool. I come back in the sports. Yeah, I get my bets in for the games that night. Yeah, that's chill. That's me, man.
You know what happened the last time? I'm at the Green Valley Ranch. Nice place. It's off the Strip. I went from the M to the Green Valley. This was about 4 years ago. We're going out to eat. My wife, Bibi, is dressed to the nines. And believe me, folks, I'm not bragging. I'm just saying. At that time, she was in her earlier 60s. She don't care. And she was She's still beautiful. As beautiful as ever.
Absolutely.
4 guys. Hey, baby, while I'm with her. 4 young guys. And they walked by. And you know what I did? I ignored it. I took it as, wow.
Yeah, it's a compliment.
My wife. I didn't like that I was there, but there was 4 of them. There's a reason. The one guy, if he's by himself, does not go, hey, baby. Okay?
That's right.
Because the next thing he's seeing is, I'm going, hey, baby, pull the stretcher out. Yeah.
That's how this
There were 4 guys. I get it. They were hammered. I understand. But man, I almost. That would have been bad. That would have been bad for me. I just wouldn't know.
It would have been bad.
My arm, she goes, keep going.
And the question now is it bad for the NFL player that they've added a 17th game? The NFL is always preaching safety, safety, safety. Wait a minute. There's money to be made by adding another game. What are your thoughts on that, Mike?
You know what DeMaurice Smith said yesterday? I'm watching him. Mm-hmm. He said, we didn't give them anything. They paid for it. So in other words, you took money for your players to supposedly, and I never bought the concussion crap. I didn't. It was a onslaught. I know people get concussions, but and I'm glad they have the rules set, but I never bought. Where is all the mainstream media that shouted for this? And why are they now patting them on the back for a genius TV deal and getting an extra game? The hypocrisy of the National Football League is second to none. The nonsense about player safety, your pieces of meat, your union treated you like pieces of meat. To me, as a gambler, and this is the truth, you're just game pieces. You're not even human to me. Okay, so I'm sorry, Tom Brady, he's a game piece. Wow. Tom Brady, he'd walk right by me. If I asked Tom Brady to pay my mortgage, he'd hang up the phone if I had a number, but I couldn't even get a number. So I'm in that mode of my life. But where is the Peter Kings? Where are the Mike Florios? Where are these people? Where are the Rick Tellenders? Where are these people that advocated safety, which they've gotten, but are also advocating an extra game? That extra game could paralyze a player. That extra game could injure a player for his career. And they're not going to practice anymore. They don't care. They don't care about the product. I watch it to gamble, and I watch the Bears to see how many games they're going to lose. That's it. I just don't understand it, and it just seems to me they hit on something, and if they get something like the Redskins name, which is absolutely ludicrous that they banned it, and there's no name at all. The Washington Football Club, this is where we're at right now. You don't even want to come up with a name, you cowards, and then you add another game to injure your players even more, and your union head acts like a lackey to Goodell and the people. They sit at the table, they share pieces of prune Danish, and they have their coffee together, and then he sticks it to his union membership. And even Alvin Kamara and many players don't like this. It's bull, they said. So I'm with them.
Chris Watts says, don't they play one less preseason game? Yeah, but that doesn't matter.
They didn't even play. The Trubisky team didn't even play.
That's right.
Oh, crap. You know, Chris, be smarter than that. Be smarter than that. You got intensity in 17 games. You don't have starters even playing anymore for the most part in exhibition games. And they have off-season workouts and all this other stuff. So that nonsense, if you buy it, is what they want the people to believe. This crap and all these big time. I mean, where's everybody at? Where are the guys from The Athletic that we know? Where are they? Where are the football lifers saying this is ridiculous? They won't say a word now because a lot of them got yellow streaks. I don't give a damn. See, the worst thing that ever happened to anybody in this town or any of my people, my friends even, that are hypocrites, is I made so much money, I don't need them. Anybody. And that's why you hear me saying what I need to say. Not those guys who will say everything from the extra game is good to Andy Dalton is an improvement.
John Hagan Jr. says the NFL has never been about safety. It's always
Never.
about money, while COVID-19 isn't about a health issue. It's about politics. It's all hypocritical.
Absolutely.
Let's see. I wanted to ask you about this Bears schedule because one of the things about it that is scary for all Bears fans is the fact that they are playing 6 of the 9 road games are against teams who qualified for the playoffs in 2020. The Bears will play 8 games overall against playoff teams from last season. That's going to be pretty tough to get back into the playoffs when they're this tough schedule, right?
Yeah, it's a tough schedule. St. Rita would be a tough schedule right now. I looked at the Catholic League schedule the other day. I saw 3 teams that could beat the Bears. No, all kidding aside, let's go over. Can we go over? I'm not going to say the Public League Green Division would beat them, but
no, probably not.
Let's go over each game. It won't take me long. Seattle 0-1, Rams 0-2. Tampa Bay 0-3, Cleveland 0-4, Pittsburgh 0-5, Vegas 1-5, Minnesota 2-5, Detroit 3-5, Green Bay 3-6.
All right, and then these are the home games.
Okay, let me write this down. 3-6. It's complicated. Home game: Cardinals 1-0, 49ers 1-1, Giants 2-1, Ravens 2-2, Bengals 2-3, Lions 2-4, Vikings 3-4. Packers 3-5.
3-5 and 6.
That's 6-11.
Okay, 6-11. That would mean
I just look at some of these teams. I go, there's no way. Now with the points with the points, that's a whole different ballgame. The Bears were one of the best covered teams last year. Too bad you don't get credit for that. Is in the standings.
Yeah. Chris says, Mike, I bow down to your logic.
That's what we're here for, Chris. I mean, not everybody knows everything, man. Eldo and I we miss stuff. I understand where you're coming from, but don't fall for the NFL mainstream media boys, the fanboys, telling you that 17 games is a good thing. It's only good for the owners, and they kiss the owner's ass.
Yep. And Ravi says the Bears are winning 4 games. So he's under.
Well, you know what? I'm not going to argue with them. It could be anyway. But I mean, I look at these teams. A lot of them. Let me go back to the original road schedule.
Okay? The road ones right here.
All right. Seattle with Mitch. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle, that's a loss. Rams is a win. Tampa Bay's a loss. Cleveland's a win. Pittsburgh's a win. Pittsburgh's a loss. Vegas is a win. Minnesota is a win. Detroit's a win, and Green Bay's a loss.
So you're saying
how many games?
So you've got them winning 2 more games with Mitch than with Dalton on the road.
Absolutely. That would make them 5-4 instead of 3-6. Now let's go to the home games.
Home games right here.
Okay, Cardinals 1-0, 49ers 1-1, Giants 2-1, Ravens 2-2, Bengals 3-2, Lions 4-2, Vikings 4-3, upset, Packers 4-4.
So you've got the Bears basically
9-8.
Right. You got them in the playoffs because
I got them with 3 more wins than with what they got with Dalton because half the team's already quit. From what I'm hearing.
Wow.
Half the team's not happy already. So they're coming in. A lot of guys are not happy. Yeah, people can say whatever they want. I'm just telling you that I had predicted this before this nonsense. That he's beloved in the clubhouse. I'm reading today, that he wanted to play for Denver, and Denver said, we got a young guy, but he said, I can beat that guy out. I know he can beat Drew Lock out. But they can't automatically turn around and blame him, the kid.
Yep.
You know, I mean, they're not going to treat him like Mitch has been treated because Mahomes was better. Mitch is better than a lot of quarterbacks in the league right now. It didn't work out, and I just want somebody to ask Nagy, what was your problem with Mitch? But they have no balls in this town. Nobody's asked him. What is your problem? What was your main problem? What did he not do for you besides win at 29 and 21? That's all I want to hear.
Besides get you into the playoffs 2 out of 3 years.
And I've been trying to figure this all out. Somebody said yesterday, Sylvie, he had a poll out, and he said, what Andy Dalton, will he throw for 4,000 yards? Okay. And maybe he will. Okay. But if you're throwing for 4,000 yards, Sylvie, you're behind. Okay.
Yes.
You're behind. Okay. So my point is 71% said basically no at the last time I looked at the poll. And if that's true, maybe they'll do better. But if you're going to fill the air with footballs, I mean, Andy Dalton, I watched him last year. He's got this sparkling reputation. He hasn't been in the playoffs since Patton was a private. I mean, come on.
Patton was a private. John Buffone, your good buddy, says Kellen Mond will lead them to the playoffs, Uncle Mike. John has been pounding the table for this quarterback, Kellen Mond, and there's been a lot of speculation that the Bears are interested in him. And John will be talking about that tonight on Buffone 55. We've got a special show. We're going to talk about the salary cap. We're going to talk about the draft. We're going to talk about all sorts of stuff. John Buffone and Alyssa Barbieri, that is tonight. Mike, you mentioned that poll that was put up.
I want to talk about Johnny because I respect what he's saying.
He's the best.
I respect John. And I told him last night, we went back and forth on this a little bit, and so other people jumped in. One guy said the guy is slow. You know, Mitch was as fast, you know. Then Johnny showed a guy thrown to a receiver. Okay. He went to his left, threw, and the ball is like a fly ball. Okay. And I'm going to myself, okay, no, you don't go from Mitch Trubisky to this guy. You don't. And I've seen him play a couple times. And don't forget, Nick Saban said, it's not about how good these guys are. Nick Saban just said last week, I had to change my attitude 6 years ago. There's no more defense being played. All the rules are set up for the quarterbacks. So all these people, and I'm not saying it's John, see every quarterback. Johnny Manziel filled the air with football from the same school. So knock it off. If they take this guy, Bear fans will be irate. Yeah, I am not kidding you. And you know what? I bet college football all the time. I watch them. Okay. You know, I mean, the only reason you're settling for Lamond, in my opinion, is because you can't get the other guys, period. We don't settle. We got to find somebody better than that, in my opinion, because Andy Dalton is going to last 1 year. If that, I will not settle for Kelly Lamond being our starting quarterback,
or Kellen Mond,
whatever his name is. I mean, seriously, I watch him. Everybody gets infatuated with one film clip of a football being thrown. I can do that. Of course, I'll only throw 20 yards, but I can roll. I'm in my plus 60s. I can roll to my left and throw a football 30 yards. Really high where the guy was waiting for it. What do you think the corners are doing? What do you think the corners are doing? You think they're going, oh, man, I can't catch up to that fly ball? That's the video. That's all I saw. The ball was full. You got to throw a rope.
Yep.
You got to throw a rope. You see Lawrence? Boom.
Yeah, I saw that.
And now we're going to move up. People moving up to 3 for the quarterback from Alabama.
Mac Jones, yeah.
I like him. But am I to think the Bears would want to move up and take him after you just let go of Mitch and they'll pass on another quarterback that was better? And then we go through the same nonsense again?
That's hilarious. All right, I wanted to get your thoughts on this.
Hold on, I got to put my head down. Okay.
With the added game to the schedule, 17 games, so a lot of people now are speculating, are some of the Bears' team records going to be broken? So I'm going to ask you this question. Is the passing yards going to be broken that Eric Kramer holds, 3,838 yards? It's been the record since 1995. Is Andy Dalton going to beat that passing yards record with 17 games?
I hope he does, but if we don't have a winning record, I won't care.
Oh, that was the correct answer.
We had a quarterback with a 29-21 record, and I got to read. He didn't throw this many passes, 20 yards. When he rolls to his left, he throws this way. When he rolls to his right, he plays that way. I was on Visson yesterday with my guys, and I said, "Listen, I'll give you that bet, 5-1.
Mm-hmm.
Trubisky makes the playoffs, starts a minimum of 5 games. He's got to, because and if he does, they'll make the playoffs, and the Bears won't." And they brought up regulations or something. They talk prop bets all the time, but the Trubisky, I guess the Trubisky prop bet would have trouble making it through with the Nevada Gaming Commission. I don't know. But I did say, because I have an interest, and I am a part of the lettuce group of Rich Melman, that I will bet Mitch and Paulie this bet. And they decided, Paulie took it. He'll take 3 stakes to 1. I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. If you win the bet, I'll take you to Jonestown. And there's no waiting in the lobby. We walk right in, okay? I'm not thanking Pantanglia. There's a reason you're an investor. There's a reason you get that check every 3 months. And by the way, are back again. I want to thank the lettuce group. Yes. Yeah, they stopped for a year. Yeah. Very painful. But I'll take them in. I'll buy him dinner. I'll fly in. And I've decided to up my offer. I said yesterday, but if I win, where Mitch makes the playoffs with Buffalo and starts a minimum of 5 games, I get 15-minute segment. But I'm going to up it to a half an hour. I'm not flying all the way to Vegas just to say I was right for 15 minutes. I got to have some also content. You know what I'm saying? So,
exactly.
Paulie took me up on the offer. I'm going to keep track of it. Me and Paulie, I'll DM them and stuff. But they're terrific guys. Had fun yesterday describing on Marquee and on Visson, the 4 Chicago teams. That was fun, talking about Eloy, by the way.
I bet. Yeah, that's a terrible injury to the White Sox.
But you know what? That's the part of fun of gambling.
Absolutely.
That's a good bet. I'll take them to dinner and fly in. If I lose, they put me on the air on Visson if I win.
There you go.
Great bet. Better than any money bet. I'd rather fly in and see them anyway. They're good guys.
Yeah. Now, out of these team records, one that I think...
By the way, we talked about Dalton getting that team record earlier. He's going to get maybe 4, but he's got to win.
Yeah, that's the key thing. Now, in 1984, Richard Dent had 17.5 sacks. Do you think Khalil Mack could break that record?
I want him to get 8 sacks next year. Then what do you have this year?
Yeah, that's 8. Yeah.
There's no comparison between him and Richard Dent. Don't even compare them. And I know Richard Dent, listen, he took half the plays off and still was a Hall of Famer. I used to tell him all the time. He used to get mad at me. I seen it. I've been watching football since the 60s. I could tell when Richard Dent knew when a big play was coming.
Yeah.
Because he'd go all out. They all rest sometimes. They all rest. But I didn't like it. But then you couldn't say anything, because when he decided not to rest, he was clutch and he came up with big plays.
There you go. Swanky Swank wants to know, Mike North, are the Bears going to trade up for a quarterback in this draft?
No, I don't think so. I think they went through that crap with Mitch. I don't think they will. They got Foles. And the funny thing is, Dalton wasn't even supposed to be here. Foles was supposed to be the answer.
That's right.
I just cannot believe they're paying Foles almost as much as they're paying Dalton. Yeah. I just can't. And this whole thing's a mess.
There you go.
Remember, we're talking about a car that breaks down all the time.
That's right.
And you want to take a cross-country trip. And you know it's going to break down, but you still think you're going to make it. And the next thing you know, you're in Omaha going, is there a payphone? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah. Swank just had a question. I took it down, but here it is. He wants to know if the Bears cheerleaders are ever going to come back. Do you think that could happen?
Yeah, they're all here. All the guys that wanted Foles, they're all here. What are you talking about?
I think he's talking about.
And all the guys that thought the safety concerns, they're all here. NFL, they should all wear cheerleading outfits. Man, I know some guys, they're on their 10th quarterback that they want for the Bears. They're like kids with their toys. Every 5 minutes, you give them a toy, this kid goes, this is the greatest. And then 5 minutes later, he's throwing it out the window. And they got a new toy.
One last record I wanted to share with you, because this is this is sad, but I actually think that this record could be broken. But the fact that this record is held by two players, one in 1947 and one in 1970, it's receiving touchdowns, 13. Dick Gordon had 13 in 1970. Remember Dick Gordon with the big
I love Dick Gordon. Can I tell you something? Dick Gordon, I'm telling you, just as a non-looker, he was one of my favorite players. Rudy Bukic.
Me too.
Threw 75 passes to him. He made his living on 7-yard outs, 8-yard in.
Yep.
And I believe in the evening time, he made his living laying a lot of pipe, period.
He was a plumber, huh?
Yeah, he's a plumber. I talked to Doug about those guys. You know, Doug, who Doug says was one of the greatest defensive backs of all time? You remember this guy? Allen Ellis.
Oh, yeah, Allen Ellis, sure.
Allen Ellis, and
38.
I would put on the other side. If Allen Ellis had played for the 85 Bears, Leslie Frazier or Mike Richardson, God bless, one of them sitting. That's how good. Yeah, that's the way it was. You played on some bad teams. Allen Ellis tried his best, but the Bears had some good players back then. They just didn't have enough good players. I mean, am I supposed to believe? Seriously. That Butkus would not have started on the 85 Bears. Am I really supposed to believe? Wait a minute. And I got to be honest with you. Can you imagine if Sayers and Peyton were both drafted in the same year by the Bears? You have to have them both back there. Because remember, Walter became a fullback. What a guy. For Neil Anderson. I mean, come on, man. Or vice versa. But I'm just telling you, there were some good players on the Bears that could have played on the 85 team.
Yep. Superman 800 says, Mike, I hear you own a Nick Foles jersey.
Listen, I'm the guy that when they did it, when I heard this, I yelled in the middle of the night, no. And then an hour later, I see cop cars circling. I mean, somebody thought there was, I mean, I couldn't believe it. And then when I heard all the dumbasses say, he's good. He's going to be better than Mitch. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. No, Wilson. Oh, how about Watson? What number are we up to? 19? 19.
Oh,
19?
Cruel.
19. 19. Oh, no, we don't want to talk about that. But if it was Big Ben, one. He had one. He got out of it. 19. Now, could be a money grab, but 19. Okay.
Okay. All right, we're going to talk baseball.
Him are having a race.
We're going to talk baseball, but I want to remind everyone that tonight, if you want to hear some more Bear stuff, it's Buffon 55 with John Buffon, Alyssa Barbier.
I might call in.
A couple of special guests. Yeah, it's going to be a great show. We're going to have tons of stuff. It's on really late because we've got a couple of special interviews and we got to get that together. But
and I want John, if he believes it, unload on me if you don't. Unload on me for nothing. What's the kid's name again?
Kellen Mund.
Okay, I had Kelly Lamond. I think she was an actress. She was in Lady in Red.
Right? Yeah.
Kelly LeBlanc. Yes.
Yeah.
I had her mixed up with this guy. But you know what? The hair looks similar. His hair in a bun.
That's right. Oh, where'd you go, Mike?
I'm right here. Did I unplug something?
I'm not seeing your picture. I see a B for BB, but we can still hear you.
Make sure you have the right. Yeah, I'm right here. Don't worry about it.
All right. So, hey, let's talk a little baseball. Because opening day is tomorrow. We are live here Wednesday morning, and then the Cubs are playing tomorrow, and the White Sox are playing tomorrow. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on this upcoming season for these two teams, the Chicago Cubs. Let's start with them first. I'm going
to talk about the Cubs first, but before I do, I'm going to yell for BB. BB! Okay. Because she knows how to fix this stuff. I might have unhooked something, but I want everybody. But at least we're on. The Cubs are they're over under 79. I sort of hon, that picture went out here. I think what happened is I might have hit something. I don't know. Oh, here it is. No, this is the mic. So I don't know what happened. And that's okay. Anyway, I'll keep talking. I really believe that.
Hold on a second. I want to play something.
Okay.
Technical difficulties.
I thought that was opportune. And while you're working on that, I'm going to let you know that John Buffone wrote in the comments, he knew he was going to get you all lathered up when he mentioned the name Kellen Mond. Some of the other comments, the Factor one says, I'll be pissed if we leave the draft without one of those top 5 quarterback prospects. Ravi says trading up would be the dumbest thing, especially if they are bad. Can't even use the high pick. Chris Watson.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna say this. BB's working on this, but we may not be able to get the thing back. So we'll just continue to show this way. I will tell you this right now that basically when you think of what has transpired, it's almost unnecessary. I really believe that the Cubs could have challenged for the division this year, and maybe they will. But I got to tell you, Pirates at the Cubs, I'm excited about it. I'm thinking that basically that I should have probably put something down. Darvish, though, being gone, what would the over/under be with Darvish on the team? It's 79. They'd be contending for the division.
I hear you.
I mean, the Cardinals have injuries. The Reds, are you kidding me? I mean, seriously, the Cubs could have been the best team in the division. What is the difference between Jack Peterson? What is the difference between Jack Peterson and Schwarber? What is the difference? Why didn't you just keep Darvish? The money you spent in the offseason, you could have just paid Darvish and Schwarber and give them one more chance.
Yep. I'm with you.
Why get, I remember when the Bulls ended Jordan and that team in 97, they said, you're not getting another chance. Maybe the Cubs won it too soon. Maybe they won ahead of schedule, but they did playoff baseball for a long time, and they're going through the Rizzo stuff now. I just think this is going to be a mess that was unnecessary. They could have come back one more year, except it seems that Ricketts was afraid because of COVID. He had basically remodeled the ballpark. He was expecting people to come in. Okay, they never dreamt COVID was going to hit. He's not the only owner. Look at Cleveland getting rid of Lindor. Now Lindor's asking for $300, and they offered him the Mets $320 million. He wants more. Do you believe this?
I don't. It's crazy.
I mean, the kid grew up poor, no doubt. Maybe he didn't. I have no idea. But when somebody offers you $320 million and you're haggling over a few million more a year, you're an idiot.
Please.
Yeah. And letting Darvish go to me was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I see where they put down Nico Horner. He is their best second baseman. The manager of the team, David Ross, said this in front of everybody. And, that sounds good. That sounds good. Thank you, David. He said, and I would have said, excuse me, because he said, we have to see what David Bodie can do. He's been on the team for 3 years. He's a journeyman. You put Horner down for service time. Just tell us that. Don't lie to us. Don't insult us. But they lie, and that's a pretty good idea. Maybe with Ross it'll be better. Huh? Yeah. No, if Horner if it wasn't for the service time, he's up.
Yep.
They don't want to. It's like you got a billionaire who just bought a TV station, marquee, and all this other stuff, and he's crap. He's scared because he bought up Lincoln Park. It's just crazy. I mean, it really, really is. I mean, he bought up Wrigleyville, and all of a sudden, the one thing they never thought would happen, people aren't allowed to go into. And in Chicago, we may not be able to come back to what? I'm saying 2025, 2026. Yeah. They're separated. They're 25 feet apart. There's 700 people here. Happy New Year, 2026, ladies and gentlemen. I'm watching the NCAAs. Half the guys are wearing masks. Half the guys aren't. I just don't understand it.
It is weird.
It's beyond me. I'll tell you this. I've never felt better. I haven't been out that much. I don't get anything. I can't catch a cold. How do you catch a cold?
That's right.
And then I have to read the influenza numbers are up higher. And then I go, okay. Oh, that's what they said. Yeah, they're good. But you know what? They're spiking some places. It's just complete. This has been complete. Ships leaving, ships coming. I don't understand it. Hospitals being built, hospitals being torn down. Right? We had this conversation like a couple of years. I have a headache.
Yeah, I hear you.
I still don't think the needle penetrated Pritzker's arm.
It's still working its way through all that, though.
I already said. He asked. He goes, "When are you putting it in?" They go, "We already gave you 2 shots."
Tomorrow, the White Sox begin their regular season against the Angels in Los Angeles. It's Lucas Giolito versus Dylan Bundy. Mike, I got to tell you, I saw this article in the Chicago Sun-Times. The Chicago White Sox, the 4th and 5th pitchers, Dylan Cease and Carlos Rondon, they both had outstanding springs, basically a strikeout per inning. These 2 guys who are the bottom of the pitching rotation hold some promise, and with Eloy out of the lineup, they might need to win some games with those pitching arms. Are you as psyched up about the White Sox as I am?
I like the first 3 pitchers. I'll wait and see. Spring training numbers don't mean anything to me, but I like the first 3, and if they pan out, that's great with me. I hope they do. Eloy, it's a trouble spot. And you know, it's like having back in the day McCovey out of the lineup. I mean, here's what people aren't saying. I'll bet anybody now. Where did Eloy bat? Behind Abreu last year? Did he bat?
Yes.
Did he bat sometimes behind him?
Mm-hmm.
His protection. Abreu will not have the year he had last year because Eloy's gone.
Mm-hmm.
He won't.
Wow.
Because Eloy was going to hit 35. But they made a mistake. He should have never been in the outfield. They should have. I said last year on Bears Barroom, he should have a cowbell around his neck because he's going to kill Robert or Robert's going to kill him. You got to have a warning. Mm-hmm. They almost collided 5 times. He didn't know how to play the outfield. Jimmy Pearsall used to tell me all the time. One of the biggest fallacies is that you can put anybody in the outfield. Well, you saw what can happen to a guy when he doesn't know what he's doing out there. Right. He's a fun-loving guy. He's great. But, I mean, I hope he didn't ruin his power with his arm and his career. He's a career DH. I said that last year. And now Engel will save runs, but there's a tremendous dip as far as production.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I am totally with you. I got high hopes for these Chicago White Sox.
I got high hopes. Yeah, well, that's our motto. High hopes when it comes to Chicago.
When it comes to Chicago sports.
That's it.
Mike, I want to finish the show. I saw that this actor was trending. And, when you see somebody trending, especially an old person, an old actor or an athlete, you immediately think, okay, the guy died. Well, no, Christopher Walken is alive and well. He is celebrating his 78th birthday today. And so I wanted to ask you, what are some of your favorite Christopher Walken movies? There's The Deer Hunter, there's The Dead Zone, King of New York, True Romance, At Close Range, Pulp Fiction, Catch Me If You Can. Those are just some of the movies this guy has made over his career. What an actor. I think you love him as much as I do. What do you think about Christopher Walken, and what do you like about his work?
Well, the greatest performance of his life was the Natalie Wood situation.
Oh, you're terrible.
Oh, they're both on a boat, him and Robert Wagner, and she's gone.
You are terrible.
But nothing happened. Well, I mean, come on. I'll tell you this. The Deer Hunter, to me, I respect Christopher Walken. I mean, he found his niche, man. And any movies in, I loved him in the story about the Cleveland mobster. From Cleveland, Green. His name, Irishman Danny Green. He plays a Jewish loan shark who loans him money, but the money on the way gets lost.
Okay.
And this guy named Schondorf, who he plays, wants him to pay the money back anyway, even though he didn't receive it. The next thing you know, he gets blown up in a car bomb back in the 70s. It's about a mobster who knocked down the whole Italian mob, an Irishman. And Pulp Fiction is fantastic with him in that. Little roles can be made big roles, but Deer Hunter, I think, is his masterpiece.
I have to agree with you on Deer Hunter. I think the movie you're referring to is called Kill the Irishman. Came out in 2011.
Absolutely right. He's fantastic in it.
I have not seen that. I will definitely check that out. He is a sensational actor. He's become an icon. And the thing is, he's kind of remembered mostly as being a tough guy, but the guy does comedy really well too.
Yes,
but that scene.
He's from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, that's right. In fact, Harp just mentioned that. I want to hear some more cowbell, the music manager on Saturday Night Live. That was outstanding.
He's great.
It's become comedy legend. And Ravi is just saying the same thing I was about to say. That Russian roulette scene in The Deer Hunter is one of the best scenes ever done in the history of movies, and he was sensational at that.
He was. I mean, that whole thing, it's a painful movie to watch. It's a tough movie to watch, but I watch it once a year at least. I just can't stop looking at it. I think Meryl Streep is fantastic. John Cassell, another Academy Award-winning performance. I mean, the guy, he was in 5 movies, and they were all award-winning movies, from Godfather 1, Godfather 2, Dog Day Afternoon. I mean, just every movie, The Conversation, every movie he was in, 5 movies, because of him being in that movie made it a better movie. And the thing that really, if you watch the movie now, the scenes with Cassell, from the bar scenes to when they go hunting, they go, and he wants, some boots, and they were all shot first because he was dying of terminal cancer at the time.
Oh.
So to put together that kind of performance, and all the actors knew, and at the time, Meryl Streep and him were an item. They were going together for years. So she's in the movie. She spends time with him in the movie, off the set. They film all his scenes first. And then I think he passes away not too long after the movie. But they had to shoot his scenes first. Yet they thought he could do it. And he knocked it down with cancer. Knowing he's having his film shot, and De Niro and all these guys who are friends with him, knowing he's going to die.
Yep, absolutely. And Chubbs reminds us of that great scene in the movie True Romance. It happens in the trailer.
Oh,
that scene in the movie really was written by Quentin Tarantino, and I've actually studied that scene because the dialogue in that scene is stupendous, and it's brilliantly acted by Christopher Walken and the rest of the cast. Dennis Hopper is in that scene, just outstanding. Mike, you know what time it is?
What time is it? It's time for me to make a couple picks, because they're going to be on Win Daily too, folks. Win Daily Sports. If you miss, WinDailySports.com, Win Daily Sports, at Win Daily Sports, or you just check out our podcast right now. Nobody can see me except Aldo, but you know what I got so excited about? I think we were talking about how great Andy Dog's going to be that I knocked the whole damn station off the air. My God. It won't be the first time. I will tell you the time. This is the best. John Cangelosi comes in to do a studio hit with us.
Oh, cool.
We're in there. He brings his wife and kid. That should be a no-no, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, right.
You don't bring your wife and kid in. The kid's running around. This is the truth. The kid's running around the control booth. He unplugged one thing, and it knocked out the score for about 10 minutes.
Oh, God. That's a great story.
The kid was a little tight, good-looking kid, but he was running around. One thing he hit, and the whole station went off.
That's hilarious.
All right, here we go. You ready? This is very simple, folks. I'm not, I put these together. These are leans, but I think they're going to win, so I'm giving them out. But if I don't like one of them, just stay tuned at Aldo Gandia or North to North. If I find another pick, I will add them today, later on, with the Bear Barroom and Win Daily Sports. By the way, I'll be on tomorrow on my show, Twitter. Michael Rizio's left. I'm going to be in with a new co-host. I don't know who he is yet. I'll find out. I've worked with many co-hosts. It's going to be fine.
Oh,
I made it through with Aldo. I mean, come on now. I mean,
that's right. If you can get through working with me,
oh yeah, he's just a tough guy to work with. Oh, and then and then I'm going to be on Sirius Fantasy Radio at 4:15 on Saturday with seeing Najef and Jason and all those guys on Win Daily. So I'm going to take Indiana against Miami tonight. Indiana is right now +2. Just take Indiana the points. Just take Indiana no matter what. And the people go, how could you take that game? This is what the system gets me. Do you think I wake up in the morning going, B, guess what? Good morning. And she goes, good morning. I'm taking the Timberwolves today. No. I start spinning the revolver like the scene in Deer Hunter. Timberwolves in Indiana. And I'm sorry I knocked the station out, but that's okay. You can still hear the vibration, see the vibration of my voice, which I can't take my eyes off. I'm like my puppy. Okay. So that's it. It's Indiana
against Miami.
Minnesota, and I'll also put it up on Twitter later.
Okay. That is outstanding.
Wow, what a show.
All right.
We still going on? What do we talk about next?
We are going to say goodbye.
Okay.
Actually, before we say goodbye, I want to say this. Today, at 2:00, where's my graphic? Here it is, this one. The gloves are going to be dropped. Two brothers talking about Blackhawk hockey. It starts at 2 p.m. Central live. This is a new show.
Good.
Barroom Network. It is going to be Vinny Parisi and his brother, Joey Parisi.
Good guys.
These guys
on the deli. Down the street, they're wonderful people. The father was a sweetheart. He's a sweetheart. So, I'm looking forward. And by the way, you can tell I love hockey. I bet hockey now. I watch it. It's the only sport that you could turn on now out of all the sports, and it hasn't changed that much. So we're from the 60s. Every other sport is a lily sport now. Don't slide into me. Don't make sure you don't run me over. I don't want to get a concussion. I got elbowed. I flopped the other day, and I got a foul. God, hockey is great, man. Hockey should be acquiring more and more people.
Mike,
So good luck to the guys.
I got to ask you this question. These guys were arguing about how many holes is there in a straw. Are they 2 or are they 1? And what do you say?
Well, there's 2 because if you plug up one end, you don't get it out.
Exactly. That's what
Alaska, build a pipeline with one end plugged up.
But Vinny disagrees. He says there's 1 hole. And then I asked John Buffon last night. He goes, Aldo, of course there's just 1 hole. What do you? But
I'm going to plug up. I'll put gum on the other end and tell them to drink out of the straw. What has happened to everybody?
That's what I say.
You know what? I was in the food business. You tell all these guys. You tell Vinny. You tell Johnny. You tell them all. Buffon's had a rough couple days first. Yeah, between Kelly LeBlanc and but if Johnny gets done with one of his workouts, I'll give him a straw with one end. But I would also say this: if I was in the food business, hold on, I was in the food business for 16 years. We ordered everything. If I got straws with just one end had a hole, I'm sending them back. There's 2 holes, period.
Thank you very much.
I don't understand where. I mean, seriously, where's Johnny? I got to talk to John. I love him. You know that. Love him. I loved his uncle. I mean, the whole ball whack. But then again, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree because I can see Doug saying, "There's only 1 hole, little buddy." You know.
That is
Doug had this one thing. He had this one thing. See, I pounded the table, and I thought the picture would come back like the jukebox in Happy Days.
The Fonz.
Yeah. A big player. We end up being the star.
By the way, we've got a new Chicago Bull show Thursdays at 7 p.m. It's the Ellis brothers doing C Red Radio. And then, of course, we've got our returning champion, the Bulls 101, Saturday night at 10. Actually, that should be 11 o'clock Central. Their
Do
guest.
they know that if you go down, this whole thing ends? Do they know also that we got a special project coming up in a couple that we're going to be talking about, and I got another thing I'm going to be talking about. I mean, do they know? Does everybody realize that this whole thing hinges on you?
No, they don't.
I always have appreciated your hard work. Always. You are the guy that makes it, but you love it. So it's your mistress.
I gotta have my little bottle of whiskey nearby just for those frustrating moments.
Look at you. And that's from last night.
That's from last night. That's right.
Good times, my friend.
Oh, you're the best, Mike North. We'll talk to you soon. Everybody, make sure you follow Mike at North to North on Twitter. Make sure you follow Win Daily Sports at Win Daily Sports and follow me at Bears Barroom. Thank you, everybody. Say goodbye.
So long.
All right.